What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Christian Corey. You see the title and the thumbnail in today's video. We're going to talk about the struggles that Fernando Tatís Jr. has been having ever since he came back from that shoulder injury, which occurred back on April the 6th against the Giants at home on a vicious backswing. He tore up his front shoulder very badly. He's back just in time for the Padres and Dodgers series to resume from Los Angeles, California, Dodger Stadium. Also, today, we're going to talk about the struggles that have been going on with Pete Alonso and DJ LeMahieu. All right, so first, let's go over the Tatís stuff. As you know, Fernando Tatís Jr. had a very bad front shoulder injury on a backswing, a big backswing he took in the series against the Giants at home and an at-bat. The point is, he had a shoulder injury. It was actually categorized as a labrum tear, and that brought up the possibility of surgery that could happen. I mean, you know, this is bad news for Fernando Tatís Jr. It was bad news, you know, for Tatís and the Padres. Just signed a gigantic deal with the San Diego Padres. Signed a 14-year, $340 million contract this offseason. Of course, that was beat by Francisco Lindor by an extra $1 million. But again, signed that big contract with the Padres. And then the beginning of the season, this happens. It was bad news for the Padres. It looked like it would be bad news for the Padres and their shortstop. But he came back within a couple of weeks. And some, including myself, was surprised by this quick return to the baseball diamond when it comes to Tatís and the Padres. I mean, maybe at least a month. It wasn't even a month, and the guy was back on the field. And it's obvious that this injury really screwed up Fernando Tatís Jr. when it comes to his production at the plate. In 12 games total this season, Fernando Tatís Jr., look at it right here, he's batting a .163, with only 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 16 strikeouts, and a .591 OPS. You know, he was out from April the 6th to the 15th with a shoulder injury. But again, very low production numbers when it comes to Fernando Tatís Jr. Now again, he didn't get off to a great start in the beginning prior to the injury. It wasn't like he was on this massive hot streak in the beginning of the season, hit a couple bombs. It wasn't like that. He wasn't, you know, on fire out of the gates. But again, an injury like this early, you know, was going to affect him. Whether it was going to affect him when it comes to his play or just the fact that he's on the IL for a substantial amount of time. And it was the latter of the two when it comes to those two options. It was the fact that it was going to affect his play because he was back pretty early. In my mind, probably hindsight is going to be prematurely, because you can tell when he's up at the plate, he does not look comfortable. And the reason why, it's obvious. It's affected his swing, his approach at the plate. Fernando Tatís Jr. just, you know, offensive production-wise, looks terrible. He looks terrible at the plate. He does not look like the same hitter. And it's obvious. It's the swing. It's the swing that has changed. Not the approach, not the talent, not the skill, not the God-given ability, just the swing. He changed his swing. And it's so obvious what happened is that when, you know, prior to this injury, he was kind of like a Chris Bryant. He'd have a big uppercut swing, and he'd finish one-handed. He'd finish with that lead shoulder out, and he'd wrap it around like this, and he'd have a one-hand finish. And he could, you know, slap balls out to right field with a one-hander and, you know, knock one in the gap. He could get down to that curveball and golf one out to left field for a 450-foot bomb. I mean, he can do those type of things when his natural swing, you know, is in motion and when he can swing naturally. This is not his natural swing. And it's an obvious difference, a two-handed approach. It is drastically different for Fernando Tatís Jr. versus the one-hand approach prior to the injury and the two-handed approach after this injury and after he came back from the IL. And he looks terrible. I'm just going to say, I'm factual. He looks terrible at the plate. I mean, again, like I said, talent there, skill level there. I trust the guy, but he changed his swing. Probably because he's afraid to let it fly, so to speak, when it comes to his swing, and let the front shoulder go as he makes contact with the ball. He's probably worried if he makes contact with the ball with one hand or 2.5 hands as he's making contact, he might re-injure that shoulder. And I'm sure it's pretty darn tender right now for Fernando Tatís Jr. It's not 100%. There's no way. I mean, they said he's going to have surgery, and then like a couple weeks later, nope, he's back. I mean, it's obvious the Padres rushed it. I mean, I know they wouldn't have done it if it put his health in jeopardy, but it's obvious he wanted to get back on the field. They must have mutually agreed that he could do it, he could try. And Fernando Tatís Jr. is back right before and right in time for this Dodger-Padres series to start back up again in Los Angeles, California. And it started yesterday on Thursday, because I'm filming it on Friday. So it started on Thursday. They play a 4-game set in LA, and he wanted to play against the Dodgers, which is fine. But his production is not there. I mean, they have guys in the lineup like Hosmer and Machado, Will Myers, who need to step it up and back up their shortstop, Fernando Tatís Jr. and pick up the slack for him. I mean, they got guys there. It's fine, but it's not good when you have a guy in the lineup who's basically, I hate to say it, an automatic out. He is. He's an automatic out right now. His swing's terrible. He's two-handed approach. It's not him. He's a one-handed swinger his whole life. And similar situation happened with Chris Bryant. He had a big uppercut swing. He had a one-handed approach. He had that shoulder thing. It changed his swing a couple years ago, and his production went down. Now, again, hopefully he can figure it out. It's obvious he cannot hit the ball the other way. He cannot reach the outside pitch when it comes to Fernando Tatís Jr. He cannot go the other way with it. You throw him sliders all day, he'll strike out because he can't reach it. Because he's too afraid to let go of the bat with his right hand. He's too afraid to go out there with the left hand and poke at it. That's just the way it is. He's gonna suck. It's the way it is. I'm calling it like it is. But he's a great talent. I trust the guy. Hopefully he can adjust, but it will take some time, and the timing is not good. I think you should keep him out of the lineup personally, but that's just me. Next thing I want to talk about is the production level of DJ LeMahieu. Now, I know the Yankees, all in all, have been terrible. They have not done good at all. If you look at it, the Yankees, they have been losing all over the place. I mean, they got a win against the Braves on the 20th. They won last night, the 22nd, against the Indians 6-3. But prior than that, they lost the second game to the Braves. They got swept by the Rays. They got almost swept by the Blue Jays. The Rays own them. Look at DJ LeMahieu. He's not doing good. I mean, I could probably pick every guy out of the lineup, and say they're not doing good. But I'm just going to pick on DJ LeMahieu because he was that big guy they signed. But look at it. In 17 games, he has about 19 hits, 6 RBIs, 1 bomb, a .275 batting average, a .377 slugging. That's not good at all. He needs to pick it up. Just get hits. I mean, you're in a small ballpark. You don't need to hit home runs. I know their lineup is constructed to do that sort of thing, but for a guy like DJ, you got to let him hit. Let him poke the ball the other way. He'll figure it out. I'm not worried about the Yankees overall. Honestly, they'll get out of this slump. They won last night in Cleveland. Hopefully, they can beat up on the Indians a little bit, help out my Tigers, and they'll be okay. I think they'll be fine. But a guy like DJ LeMahieu and others, I mean, I'm not singling out him. There's guys like Stanton, guys like Judge, I'm sure are doing way worse. I could pick on them as well. But for the sake of time and for the argument, I'm picking on DJ LeMahieu. You got to pick it up. You got to get some hits, get some knocks. Don't worry about the bombs. Get your average back up close to 300. Get a couple of ribbies. Let's do it, DJ. That's what they got to do. He's got to pick it up in New York at second base. So, Pete Alonso. I am very skeptical of Pete Alonso. Let's be honest. In 14 games this season, only 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, a .231 batting average, a .500 slugging. Again, small sample size. I think he doubled his amount of home runs in one game in Chicago. I think he hit 2 bombs in one game. So he doubled his home runs in just a day. But again, prior to that, he had 2 home runs in 13, 11 games up to that point. So it hasn't been good for Pete Alonso. I mean, prior to yesterday and the series against the Cubs, he wasn't doing well. He was just about the same as DJ LeMahieu. 2 big guys in New York. But I just think that Pete Alonso, I got a weird feeling about Pete Alonso that he is not legit. I mean, look at last year. Again, 60 games, I get it. In 2020, 16 home runs, a .231 batting average, only 35 RBIs. He was terrible last year. I don't expect him to get back to 53 bombs, but, I mean, if you're a Mets fan, can you get me to 20 home runs, please? Please. Just give me 20 home runs, 25 home runs, 30 home runs, and I'll be fine. But again, I'm skeptical of Mr. Alonso because I don't think he's a home run hitter. I think he had 1 good year. I think he's a one-hit wonder. I honestly do. I'm sorry. I just don't believe it. Look at his body. His body's terrible. Again, you don't have to be Hulk Hogan when you're playing baseball. But he just doesn't look that athletic. I mean, he plays first base. Usually, when you're young, you play a different position other than first base. I mean, even a guy like Albert Pujols and Miguel Cabrera, they both played the outfield when they came up to the major leagues. But again, when you're that young and you're coming up as a first baseman, it says something about your body type and how you are physically. But again, I have to see a lot out of Alonso to trust him and to take him seriously. Again, LeMahieu will be fine. He's very athletic. He's just got to stop swinging for the fences. I mean, if you're a DJ, put on blinders when it comes to right field. Please, do not look at right field when it comes to home runs. Head it to right field on the ground. Hit a curveball out to left. You're fine. But Alonso, I got to see more. Got to see more. Alrighty, guys. That's all I got for today's video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. Comment on the video. Tell your friends about these videos and my channel. Really appreciate that. And as always, I will catch you later.